You know, we all have our irritating tics. My favourite was a fella I used to work with who delivered assemblies and used to say the word "right" in a slightly aggressive manner about every 23 seconds. And it was a 25-minute assembly would fly by with someone going "right" end of every sentence. So thank you for just, you know, bringing those little tics out for us, Anne. Okay, now, right, I can see he's poised, I can see the light atmospherically shining from his phone. He's sat near the front. Mike Baynham, you're coming up, come on.
Okay, this is a poem I wrote quite recently. It's a young friend of mine, and he's kind of not very happy with his life. He wants, you know, to be something different or somewhere different. So it's called Enjoy Your Curly Life. And this is my response. When I was a teenager, I wanted my hair straight, not curly. Now I appreciate my curly hair. You must learn to enjoy your life. A curly, not a straight life. I wanted my hair to hang down like a screen on sculptured cheekbones, preferably hennaed like Keith Richard or those French hippies I used to see in the Vondel Park in 1960-something. Unutterably cool, eyes sooty with coal, one jewelled earring dangling. But in the end, I had to accept my hair was curly. Somewhere along the line, I started to enjoy my curly life. So you too enjoy your curly life. Don't try and straighten it out. It will always spring back to tease you. Just wait. Discover the beauty of your curly hair. Enjoy your curly life. Everything will come to you. So this one is for Sama. It's an art lesson, a poem by somebody called Nizar Kabani, who's a Syrian poet, Syrian I think, and it's my translation. It's called An Art Lesson. My son brings me his paint box and asks me to paint him a bird. So I dig the brush deep into grey and I paint him a square bolted shut with bars. And my son says to me, bewilderment in his eyes, "But this is a prison, Daddy. Don't you know how to paint a bird?" And I say to him, "Son, please forgive me. I've forgotten what birds look like." My son brings me a box of crayons, his box of crayons, and asks me to draw him the sea. I take a lead pencil and draw him a black circle. My son says to me, "But Daddy, this is a black circle. Don't you know the colour of the sea is blue?" And I say to him, "You know, son, in my day I was a dab hand at drawing the sea. But these days they have taken my fishhooks off me and confiscated my fishing boat. They have forbidden me even to talk to the colour blue or go after the fish of liberty." Then my son brings me his drawing book and asks me to draw him an ear of wheat. I take a pencil and draw him a gun. My son laughs at my ignorance of the art of drawing and says in amazement, "Daddy, don't you know the difference between an ear of wheat and a gun?" And I say to him, "My boy, in the past, I used to know what a grain of wheat looked like. I knew the shape of a loaf of flat bread and the dimensions of a rose. But in these metallic times when even the trees in the forest enlist as militiamen and the rose is dressed as a leopard, in a time when the ears of wheat are armed, when the birds are armed, when the culture itself is armed, I can't buy a loaf of bread, of flat bread, without finding a gun in it. I can't pluck a rose in the fields without it thrusting its weapon in my face. I can't buy a book from the bookshop that doesn't detonate in my fingers." My son sits down at my bedside and begs me to recite him a poem. Then a tear drops onto my pillow. So puzzled, he picks up the tear and says, "Daddy, this is a tear, not a poem." And I say, "When you are grown up, my son, and you read books of Arabic poetry, you will discover that tears and words are like sisters in Arabic poems. Which flow through their fingers, they're simply tears." My son brings me his paint box and asks me to paint him a homeland. The brush trembles in my hand as I am suddenly shaken with sobs.